Have you ever felt a spark inside you? A force that makes you feel alive and connected to something bigger? That's spiritual energy, and it's not just for monks or mystics. It's something we all have, and it affects every part of our lives. Imagine waking up each day feeling full of purpose, ready to face any challenge. That's what high spiritual energy can do for you. The best part? You don't need fancy tools or years of training to boost it. In fact, you probably already have everything you need to start increasing your spiritual energy today. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about spiritual energy? Well, let me tell you, it's not just some airy-fairy concept, it's real, and it has a big impact on your life. When your spiritual energy is high, you feel more alive, colors seem brighter, food tastes better, and even tough days feel manageable. You're more creative, more patient with others, and better at solving problems. It's like you're operating on a whole new level. But what happens when your spiritual energy is low? That's when life starts to feel like a drag. You might feel stuck, unsure of your purpose. Little problems seem huge, and it's hard to find joy in anything. You might snap at loved ones or feel like you're just going through the motions. Low spiritual energy can leave you feeling empty, even when things in your life are going well. Here's the thing. If you're feeling any of these low energy symptoms, don't worry. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means your spiritual battery needs a recharge, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. So stick around, because the tips I'm about to share could change your life in ways you never expected. Before we dive into how to boost your spiritual energy, let's talk about what it actually is. Spiritual energy isn't some mystical force that only special people have. It's something we all possess, just like physical energy. But while physical energy helps you lift weights or run a marathon, spiritual energy fuels your inner self. Think of spiritual energy as the force that connects you to the world around you and to your deepest self. It's what gives you a sense of purpose and meaning. When you feel in tune with your values, when you're inspired by a beautiful sunset, or when you feel a deep connection to others, that's spiritual energy at work. Spiritual energy is different from physical energy in some important ways. You can't measure it on a scale or with a blood test, but you can definitely feel it. It's that sense of being fully alive and present in the moment. It's the feeling you get when you're doing something you love and time seems to fly by. One way to understand spiritual energy is to think about a time when you felt truly inspired. Maybe you were creating art, helping a friend, or simply enjoying nature. That feeling of being connected to something bigger than yourself, that sense of flow and purpose, that's spiritual energy in action. Spiritual energy isn't tied to any specific religion or belief system. Whether you're religious, spiritual but not religious, or neither, you still have spiritual energy. It's a fundamental part of being human. It's what drives us to seek meaning, to connect with others, and to grow as individuals. In our day-to-day lives, spiritual energy shows up in many ways. It's the force that helps you stay calm in a crisis. It's what gives you the strength to stand up for what you believe in. It's the spark that ignites your creativity and the warmth you feel when you connect deeply with another person. Understanding spiritual energy is the first step to increasing it. Once you recognize what it is and how it manifests in your life, you can start to nurture it, And that's exactly what we're going to explore in the rest of this video. Think about your own life for a moment. Can you recall times when you felt particularly energized, not physically, but on a deeper level? Maybe it was when you were pursuing a passion project, spending time in nature, or having a heartfelt conversation with a friend. Those moments of feeling truly alive and connected, that's your spiritual energy shining through. On the flip side, you might also remember times when you felt spiritually drained. Perhaps you were stuck in a job you hated, surrounded by negative people, or simply lost touch with your sense of purpose. In those moments, life can feel flat and meaningless, even if everything looks fine on the surface. The good news is that spiritual energy isn't a fixed quantity. Just like you can increase your physical energy through exercise and good nutrition, you can boost your spiritual energy through specific practices and lifestyle changes. And the benefits of doing so can be truly life-changing. When your spiritual energy is high, you'll find that you're more resilient in the face of challenges. Problems that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. You'll have a clearer sense of your priorities and values, which makes decision-making easier. Your relationships may improve as you become more patient, understanding, and present with others. High spiritual energy can also enhance your creativity. You might find yourself coming up with innovative solutions at work, or feeling inspired to start that creative project you've been putting off. It can improve your intuition, helping you make better choices and navigate life's complexities with more ease. Moreover, increasing your spiritual energy can have positive effects on your physical and mental health. Many people report feeling less stressed and anxious when their spiritual energy is high. Some even experience improvements in chronic health conditions. While it's not a substitute for medical care, nurturing your spiritual energy can be a powerful complement to your overall health and wellness routine. It's important to note that increasing your spiritual energy isn't about reaching some perfect state of enlightenment. It's not about never feeling sad or angry or frustrated. Those are all normal human emotions. Instead, it's about creating a strong inner foundation that helps you navigate all of life's ups and downs with more grace and resilience. Think of it like tending a garden. You can't control every aspect of how the plants grow, but you can create the best possible conditions for growth. You can ensure the soil is rich, provide water and sunlight, and protect the plants from harsh conditions. In the same way, the practices we'll discuss in this video are about creating the best possible conditions for your spiritual energy to flourish. As we go through these practices, remember that everyone's spiritual journey is unique. What works for one person might not work for another. The key is to approach this process with an open mind and a willingness to experiment. Pay attention to how different practices make you feel, and don't be afraid to adapt them to suit your own needs and lifestyle. Also, keep in mind that increasing your spiritual energy is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Just like you need to eat every day to maintain your physical energy, you need to regularly engage in practices that nourish your spiritual energy. The good news is that many of these practices are simple and can easily be incorporated into your daily routine. In the following sections, we'll explore practical ways to increase your spiritual energy. We'll start by looking at some common signs of low spiritual energy so you can better understand where you're starting from. Then we'll dive into specific techniques and practices that can help boost your spiritual energy levels. Remember, the goal isn't to become a different person or to achieve some idealized state of being. It's about becoming more fully yourself, more connected to your inner wisdom, and more in tune with the world around you. It's about living with greater purpose, joy, and resilience. So, are you ready to start boosting your spiritual energy? Great. Let's begin by looking at some signs that your spiritual energy might be running low. Recognizing these signs is the first step towards making positive changes. Just like your body sends you signals when you're physically tired, your spirit has ways of letting you know when your spiritual energy is low. Learning to recognize these signs is crucial because it allows you to take action before you reach a state of complete spiritual exhaustion. One common sign of low spiritual energy is a persistent feeling of emptiness or dissatisfaction. You might find yourself thinking, "Is this all there is?" Even when things in your life are going well. This isn't about momentary sadness or frustration. Those are normal parts of life. It's more of a lingering sense that something important is missing, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it is. Another sign is a loss of enthusiasm for things you usually enjoy. Your hobbies might start to feel like chores, or you might find yourself going through the motions at work without any real engagement. This lack of joy and passion can seep into all areas of your life, making even pleasant activities feel flat and uninteresting. Feeling disconnected from others is also a common symptom of low spiritual energy. You might find it hard to empathize with friends and family, or you might feel like you're observing your life from a distance rather than fully participating in it. This disconnection can lead to feelings of loneliness, even when you're surrounded by people who care about you. A lack of purpose or direction is another red flag. When your spiritual energy is low, you might struggle to set meaningful goals or to see how your actions contribute to a larger purpose. This can lead to a sense of aimlessness, as if you're drifting through life without any real direction. Physical symptoms can also be indicators of low spiritual energy. You might feel tired all the time, even after a full night's sleep. Some people experience unexplained aches and pains, or they might be more susceptible to illnesses. While these symptoms can have many causes and should be checked by a doctor, they can also be signs that your spirit needs nourishment. Difficulty handling stress is another common sign. When your spiritual energy is low, even minor setbacks can feel overwhelming. You might find yourself overreacting to small problems or feeling like you can't cope with the normal challenges of daily life. Many people with low spiritual energy report a sense of being stuck or stagnant. You might feel like you're not growing or learning, or like you're repeating the same patterns over and over without making progress. This can lead to frustration and a sense of helplessness. A loss of creativity can also indicate low spiritual energy. If you usually enjoy creative pursuits, but find yourself facing constant writer's block or artist's block, it might be a sign that your spiritual well is running dry. This doesn't just apply to artistic creativity. You might also struggle to come up with innovative solutions at work or in your personal life. Some people experience a crisis of faith or a loss of trust in their beliefs when their spiritual energy is low. This doesn't necessarily mean religious faith, although it can. It might manifest as doubting your personal values or feeling unsure about things you once felt certain about. Increased negativity is another common symptom. You might find yourself focusing on the bad more than the good, or feeling more cynical and pessimistic than usual. This negative outlook can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, further draining your spiritual energy. It's important to note that experiencing one or even several of these symptoms doesn't necessarily mean your spiritual energy is critically low. We all have ups and downs, and it's normal to go through periods where we feel less energized or inspired. The key is to pay attention to patterns. If you're consistently experiencing multiple symptoms over an extended period, it might be time to focus on boosting your spiritual energy. Also remember that these signs can sometimes overlap with symptoms of mental health conditions like depression or anxiety. If you're concerned about your mental health, it's always a good idea to speak with a healthcare professional. Nurturing your spiritual energy can be a wonderful complement to professional care, but it's not a substitute for it. Recognizing the signs of low spiritual energy is the first step towards making positive changes. Once you're aware of where you stand, you can start taking steps to recharge your spiritual batteries. In the next sections, we'll explore practical techniques for doing just that. Remember, everyone's journey is unique. You might resonate with some of these signs more than others, or you might experience low spiritual energy in ways not mentioned here. The important thing is to tune in to your own inner experience and trust your instincts. If something feels off, it's worth exploring. As we move forward, keep in mind that increasing your spiritual energy is a journey, not a destination. It's not about reaching some perfect state where you never experience any of these symptoms. Rather, it's about developing the tools and practices to navigate life's ups and downs with greater resilience and inner peace. In the next section, we'll start exploring specific techniques for boosting your spiritual energy. These practices are simple but powerful, and they can make a real difference in how you feel and how you engage with the world around you. So let's dive in and start exploring ways to nurture your spiritual well-being. Certainly. Here's the continuation of the script, covering the next 3 sections from the outline. Let's talk about one of the most powerful tools for increasing your spiritual energy: meditation. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Meditation? Isn't that just sitting around doing nothing? Well, I'm here to tell you that meditation is far from doing nothing. In fact, it's one of the most active things you can do for your spiritual well-being. Meditation is like a workout for your spirit. Just as exercise strengthens your muscles, meditation strengthens your spiritual energy. It's a way of tuning into yourself and the world around you on a deeper level. When you meditate regularly, you're creating space in your life for your spiritual energy to grow and flourish. So, how does meditation boost your spiritual energy? First, it helps quiet the constant chatter in your mind. We all have that inner voice that's always talking, worrying, planning, or judging. Meditation teaches you to observe these thoughts without getting caught up in them. As you practice this, you'll find that your mind becomes calmer and clearer. This clarity allows your spiritual energy to flow more freely. Meditation also helps you connect with the present moment. So often we're living in the past, replaying old memories or regrets, or the future, worrying about what might happen. But spiritual energy thrives in the present. When you're fully present, you're more open to the beauty and wonder of life. You might notice things you've never seen before, even in familiar surroundings. Another way meditation boosts spiritual energy is by helping you tap into your inner wisdom. We all have a deep well of knowledge and intuition within us, but the noise of daily life often drowns it out. Through meditation, you can access this inner guidance more easily. You might find solutions to problems you've been struggling with, or gain new insights about your life's direction. Now, I know meditation can seem intimidating if you've never done it before. But here's the good news. You don't need any special equipment or skills to get started. You can begin right where you are, with just a few minutes a day. Here's a simple technique to try. Find a comfortable place to sit where you won't be disturbed. It could be a chair, a cushion on the floor, or even your bed. The important thing is that you can sit comfortably with your back straight. Set a timer for 5 minutes. As you get more comfortable with meditation, you can gradually increase this time. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. Now, bring your attention to your breath. Don't try to change it, just notice it. Feel the sensation of the air moving in and out of your nostrils, or the rise and fall of your chest or belly as you breathe. When you notice your mind wandering, and it will, that's totally normal, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Don't judge yourself for getting distracted. Just keep coming back to the breath. When the timer goes off, take a moment to notice how you feel before opening your eyes. That's it. It's that simple. The key is to do this regularly. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference over time. As you get more comfortable with meditation, you might want to explore other techniques or guided meditations. There are lots of great apps and online resources available. Remember, meditation is a practice. It's not about achieving some perfect state of calm. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep showing up and giving yourself this time to nurture your spiritual energy. Now let's move on to another powerful way to increase your spiritual energy: connecting with nature. There's something truly magical about spending time in the natural world. It has a way of recharging our spiritual batteries like nothing else can. Think about the last time you were in nature, maybe on a hike, at the beach, or even just sitting in a park. How did you feel? Chances are you felt more relaxed, more at peace, and somehow more alive. That's your spiritual energy getting a boost from the natural world. So why is nature so good for our spiritual energy? Well, for one thing, it reminds us that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. When you stand at the foot of a mountain or look out over the ocean, it's hard not to feel a sense of awe. This feeling of connection to something larger is a key component of spiritual energy. Nature also has a way of putting our problems into perspective. The worries that seem so big in our day-to-day lives often shrink when we're surrounded by the timeless rhythms of the natural world. This shift in perspective can free up a lot of spiritual energy that might otherwise be tied up in stress and anxiety. Being in nature also engages all of our senses in a way that our modern indoor lives often don't. The sound of birds singing, the feel of grass under your feet, the smell of pine needles or sea air, all of these sensory experiences help ground us in the present moment. And as we talked about with meditation, being present is key to spiritual energy. Nature has its own pace, which is often slower and more rhythmic than the hectic pace of our daily lives. When we spend time in nature, we naturally start to sync up with this slower rhythm. This can help us feel more centered and balanced, which in turn boosts our spiritual energy. So, how can you harness the spiritual power of nature in your daily life? Here are some simple ideas. Take a daily walk outside, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Pay attention to the trees, the sky, the birds, whatever natural elements are around you. If you have a lunch break, try eating outside. Find a park bench or a grassy spot and enjoy your meal in the open air. Bring nature indoors by getting some houseplants or keeping fresh flowers in your home. On weekends, plan activities that get you out in nature. This could be hiking, beach trips, or even just picnics in the park. If you live in a city, seek out green spaces. Most cities have parks or botanical gardens that can provide a nature fix. Try gardening, even if it's just a few pots on a windowsill. There's something deeply satisfying about nurturing plants and watching them grow. When you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, take a few minutes to look up at the sky or watch the clouds. It's a simple way to shift your perspective and tap into the calming power of nature. Remember, you don't need to plan elaborate outdoor adventures to benefit from nature. Even small doses of nature can have a big impact on your spiritual energy. The key is to make connecting with the natural world a regular part of your life. As you spend more time in nature, you might find that you start to feel a deeper connection to the world around you. You might notice the changing of the seasons more acutely, or develop a greater appreciation for the intricate beauty of plants and animals. This growing awareness is a sign of increasing spiritual energy. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful yet often overlooked ways to boost your spiritual energy: practicing gratitude. Gratitude might seem simple, maybe even a bit cliché, but don't underestimate its power. It's like a secret weapon for spiritual energy. So, what exactly is gratitude? At its core, gratitude is the practice of recognizing and appreciating the good things in your life. It's about focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. And here's the amazing thing. When you start practicing gratitude regularly, it's like you're putting on a pair of glasses that help you see the world in a whole new way. How does gratitude increase your spiritual energy? Well, for one thing, it shifts your focus from what's wrong in your life to what's right. We humans have a natural tendency to focus on the negative. It's an old survival mechanism that helped our ancestors stay alert to dangers. But in our modern world, this tendency can drain our spiritual energy by keeping us in a constant state of stress or dissatisfaction. Gratitude counters this negative bias. When you actively look for things to be grateful for, you start to notice all the good things in your life that you might have been overlooking. This doesn't mean ignoring real problems or challenges. It's about creating a more balanced perspective that includes the positive aspects of your life. Practicing gratitude also helps you connect with the present moment. When you're truly appreciating something, whether it's a beautiful sunset or a kind gesture from a friend, you're fully present. And as we've discussed before, being present is key to spiritual energy. Gratitude can also improve your relationships, which in turn boosts your spiritual energy. When you express appreciation to others, it strengthens your connections. and strong, positive relationships are a major source of spiritual nourishment. Another way gratitude increases spiritual energy is by fostering a sense of abundance. When you're focused on what you lack, life can feel scarce and limited. But when you regularly acknowledge the good things in your life, you start to see how much you actually have. This feeling of abundance is incredibly energizing on a spiritual level. So, how can you start practicing gratitude in your daily life? Here's a simple exercise to try. Every night before you go to bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for from that day. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for the delicious coffee you had in the morning, or for the fact that your bus arrived on time, or for a funny text from a friend. Write these 3 things down. The act of writing helps cement the gratitude in your mind. As you think about each thing you're grateful for, really try to feel the gratitude. Imagine how your life would be different without this thing, and let yourself experience a sense of appreciation. Do this every day for at least a week. You might be surprised at how quickly you start noticing more things to be grateful for throughout your day. As you get more comfortable with this practice, you can expand on it. Here are some other ways to incorporate gratitude into your life. Start your day with gratitude. Before you get out of bed in the morning, think of 3 things you're looking forward to that day. Express appreciation to others. Make it a point to thank people sincerely when they do something for you, no matter how small. Take a gratitude walk. Go for a walk and make it a point to notice and appreciate things around you, the color of the sky, the sound of birds, the feel of the breeze on your skin. Keep a gratitude jar. Write down things you're grateful for on small slips of paper and put them in a jar. When you're feeling low, pull out a few slips and read them. Practice gratitude in tough times. This can be challenging, but try to find something to be grateful for even when things are difficult. Maybe you're grateful for your resilience or for the support of loved ones. Remember, gratitude is a practice. Like any skill, it gets stronger the more you use it. At first, you might find it challenging to think of things to be grateful for, but as you keep at it, you'll likely find that gratitude starts to come more naturally. You might even start to feel grateful for things you once took for granted. As your gratitude practice grows, you may notice changes in your overall outlook. You might find yourself complaining less and appreciating more. You might feel more content with what you have, rather than always wanting more. These are all signs that your spiritual energy is increasing. Now, let's explore a powerful technique that you can use anytime, anywhere, to boost your spiritual energy. Mindful breathing. This might sound too simple to be effective, but don't be fooled. Mindful breathing is like a secret superpower for your spiritual energy. So what exactly is mindful breathing? It's the practice of paying close attention to your breath, using it as an anchor to keep you grounded in the present moment. It's a bit like meditation, but you can do it with your eyes open, even in the middle of a busy day. How does mindful breathing link to spiritual energy? Well, our breath is intimately connected to our life force. Think about it. Breath is the first thing we do when we're born and the last thing we do when we die. It's the constant rhythm of life that's always with us, yet we often ignore it. When you practice mindful breathing, you're tuning into this fundamental life process. This simple act can immediately shift your energy. It can calm your mind, relax your body, and bring you into the present moment, all of which are essential for spiritual energy. Mindful breathing also helps break the cycle of stress and anxiety that can drain your spiritual energy. When you're stressed, your breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. By consciously slowing and deepening your breath, you're sending a signal to your body and mind that it's safe to relax. This can free up a lot of energy that might otherwise be tied up in tension and worry. Another benefit of mindful breathing is that it helps you become more aware of your inner state. As you practice, you might notice how your breath changes with your emotions or thoughts. This increased self-awareness is a key component of spiritual growth. So how can you practice mindful breathing in your daily life? Here's a simple technique to try. Take a moment to sit or stand comfortably. You can do this anywhere, at your desk, on the bus, or while waiting in line. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or simply lower your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Exhale slowly through your mouth, feeling your belly contract. As you continue breathing, focus your attention on the sensations of your breath. Notice the air moving in and out of your nostrils, or the rise and fall of your chest or belly. If your mind wanders, which is totally normal, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Do this for a few minutes, or even just for 3 breaths. The beauty of this technique is that you can use it anytime you need a spiritual energy boost. Feeling stressed before a big meeting? Take a few mindful breaths. Overwhelmed by your to-do list? Pause for some mindful breathing. Having trouble falling asleep? Use mindful breathing to calm your mind. As you make mindful breathing a regular part of your day, you might find that you become more centered and less reactive. You might notice that you're able to handle stress more easily. These are all signs that your spiritual energy is increasing. Remember, like any skill, mindful breathing gets easier with practice. Don't worry if your mind wanders a lot at first. That's completely normal. The key is to keep gently bringing your attention back to your breath without judging yourself. Now let's talk about one of the most beautiful ways to increase your spiritual energy through acts of kindness. This might seem surprising at first. After all, when we think about boosting our energy, we often think about what we can do for ourselves. But when it comes to spiritual energy, one of the most powerful things you can do is to give to others. So, how do acts of kindness boost your spiritual energy? Well, for one thing, being kind to others connects you to something bigger than yourself. It reminds you that you're part of a larger community, a wider world. This sense of connection is a key component of spiritual energy. When you perform an act of kindness, you're also aligning your actions with your values. Most of us believe in kindness and compassion, but we don't always act on these beliefs in our day-to-day lives. When you consciously choose to be kind, you're bringing your actions in line with your deepest values. This alignment is incredibly energizing on a spiritual level. Acts of kindness also have a way of shifting your focus away from your own problems and worries. When you're helping someone else, you're fully present in that moment, engaged in something positive. This can provide a welcome break from the stress and anxiety that often drain our spiritual energy. There's also a ripple effect to kindness. When you're kind to someone, they're more likely to be kind to others in turn. This means that your single act of kindness can set off a chain reaction of positivity. Knowing that you've contributed to making the world a little bit better can be a huge boost to your spiritual energy. So how can you incorporate more acts of kindness into your daily life? Here are some ideas. Start small. Hold the door open for someone, give a sincere compliment, or let someone go ahead of you in line. Look for opportunities to help. Maybe a neighbor needs help carrying groceries, or a coworker could use a hand with a project. Practice random acts of kindness. Leave a kind note for someone to find. Pay for the coffee of the person behind you in line, or leave coins taped to a vending machine. Volunteer your time. Find a cause you care about and give some of your time to help. Be kind to yourself too. Self-compassion is an important part of kindness. Listen actively when others are speaking. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to truly hear someone. Spread positivity online. Leave encouraging comments on social media or send a supportive message to a friend. As you practice more acts of kindness, you might notice some changes. You might find yourself feeling more connected to others, more optimistic about the world. You might experience more moments of joy or satisfaction throughout your day. These are all signs that your spiritual energy is growing. Remember, the goal isn't to be kind in order to get something in return. The energy boost comes from the act of kindness itself, not from any recognition or reward. In fact, some of the most powerful acts of kindness are those that no one else ever knows about. As we wrap up our exploration of how to increase your spiritual energy, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. We've talked about the power of daily meditation to quiet your mind and connect with your inner wisdom. We've explored how spending time in nature can recharge your spiritual batteries and remind you of your place in the larger world. We've discussed the transformative power of gratitude in shifting your focus to the abundance in your life. We've also delved into the practice of mindful breathing as a way to anchor yourself in the present moment and tap into your life force. And finally, we've explored how acts of kindness can amplify your spiritual energy by connecting you to something larger than yourself. Remember, increasing your spiritual energy isn't about reaching some perfect state of enlightenment. It's about creating a richer, more meaningful experience of life. It's about feeling more connected to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. It's about finding more joy, peace, and purpose in your everyday experiences. As you begin to incorporate these practices into your life, be patient with yourself. Like any change, this is a process. Some days you'll feel energized and inspired. Other days you might struggle to motivate yourself. That's completely normal. The key is to keep showing up, to keep making the effort even when it's challenging. Start small. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Maybe begin with 5 minutes of meditation each day or a weekly nature walk. Perhaps start a simple gratitude practice before bed each night. Choose 1 or 2 practices that resonate with you and make them a regular part of your routine. Pay attention to how you feel as you implement these practices. You might notice subtle changes at first. Maybe you feel a bit calmer, or you find yourself smiling more often. Over time, these small changes can add up to significant shifts in your overall well-being and spiritual energy. Remember, this is your journey. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. Feel free to adapt these practices to suit your own needs and lifestyle. The most important thing is that they feel authentic and meaningful to you. As your spiritual energy increases, you might find that you're better able to handle life's challenges. You might feel more resilient in the face of stress, more creative in your problem solving, more connected in your relationships. You might experience a greater sense of purpose and meaning in your daily life. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about increasing your spiritual energy is that it doesn't just benefit you. As you become more centered, more present, more connected, you naturally have a positive impact on those around you. Your increased spiritual energy can ripple out into the world, touching the lives of others in ways you might never even know. So, as you move forward from here, I encourage you to approach this journey with curiosity and openness. Be willing to explore, to experiment, to discover what works for you. And most importantly, be kind to yourself along the way. Every step you take towards increasing your spiritual energy is a step towards a richer, more fulfilling life. Remember, you already have everything you need within you to increase your spiritual energy. These practices are simply tools to help you tap into that inner wellspring of wisdom, peace, and vitality that's always been there. Trust in your own journey and know that with each small step, you're moving towards a more energized, more connected, more spiritually alive version of yourself. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of how to increase your spiritual energy. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to begin or deepen your own spiritual energy practice. Here's to your journey of growth, discovery, and increasing spiritual vitality.